Terumah is the name of this week's Torah portion, and it contains many essential lessons that will elucidate, illuminate, and make more worthwhile our lives. While at first blush there are historical reminders of things that no longer exist, on a second look, we see far deeper. One example, the Arona Kodesh, of which we have the descendant of the Arona Kodesh, the original one, in each one of our synagogues today, housing our sacred scrolls. However, the original one, which is described in chapter 25 of this week's Sidra, talks about Zahav Tahor, pure gold, being put across this Arona Kodesh, this holy ark, which would house the tablets that Moses brought down from Mount Sinai, both sets. The one which was broken, smashed because of the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf, and the second set, the whole set that Moses brought down. Both would be housed inside of this ark that would be gold on the out and gold on the in. Doesn't present a particular problem. However, thinking about it for a moment, we realize, why was there a necessity to take such a valuable commodity as gold and put it on the inside of the ark? Outside makes sense. After all, that was what everyone was going to see when they glanced at it. However, the inside, nobody would ever see. What was the purpose of covering that with gold? This is not lost on the sages of the Talmud, who say that the real Arona Kodesh, or the real one after the original one, became every Jew. In other words, you, I, we are all an Arona Kodesh, a holy vessel that contains sacredness inside of us. And to that extent, that which is outside must be mirrored by that which is inside. The gold on the out and the gold on the in must be equivalent. We must search and work very hard to ascertain and make sure that both the outside of us is well aligned with that which is inside. That one can have a nasty inside and present as an angel, and the opposite, I suppose, can work as well. But both are supposed to be equivalent, and we are charged with the responsibility of being this Arona Kodesh, this holy vessel, each of us. In Talmud Brachot, we're told a story of Rabban Gamliel, who took this axiom so seriously that he is the Nasi, as the great patriarch that was in charge of the great Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, would only give admittance to certain scholars who could amply and ably demonstrate their great learning before they would be allowed to come into his door. Later on in his life, when he was already an old man and it was time to move over to allow the young Elazar ben Azariah to take his place, Elazar ben Azariah opened the doors, and many new, brilliant scholars entered into the academy. New seats had to be set out for them. Rabban Gamliel, we assume, must have been very angry. How can you do this? How can you open the doors wide? I was very circumspect. I was very careful about who could come in to make sure that their insides were directly correlated to their outsides, that they were a whole human being. But you, Elazar ben Azariah, what are you doing? And we're reminded of an earlier story when such zealous guarding of the door led one young illiterate man to climb on the roof of the academy and to put his ear to the roof to listen to the deliberations that were happening within. The man, of course, was Hillel, who grew to be a great sage, who had the door slammed in his face because he was not seen to be worthy in his time. At that moment, Rabban Gamliel said, I've made a gross mistake. The door should have been more widely opened for everyone to gain admittance into this place. In fact, the Geber Rebbe goes so far as to comment on this by saying that at this moment, the great Rabban Gamliel did a huge teshuvah, a huge repentance of his soul and self, realizing that the door is supposed to swing open for all to come in, because if every Jew is a holy vessel, then everyone must have an opportunity to demonstrate what they are and who they are before the door is closed in their face. There's a lot here. A lot here about judgment. A lot here about equality. A lot here about opportunity. It happens on a vast level, where we're talking about the Great Sanhedrin of Jerusalem, and it happens on a microcosm every day.